had some good reports for you about injuries, mostly. And then I found out that Artie Burns is looking like he might have a torn ACL. You can see here in the report by Adam Schefter, not the fake Adam Schefter reported Daly being fired, ESPN posted, but the real one, Dolphins veteran Artie Burns, who injured his knee at practice today and left on crutches, is feared to have a torn ACL. Per sources, Burns is now awaiting MRI and a second opinion to confirm. We all know this cornerback group is not a certain thing. Artie Burns is not Xavier Howard or Deion Sanders, but for us, he's a critical piece. He's a vet. He can play well at times, and we were depending on him. And to have that kind of veteran ability and dependability pulled out of this very uncertain cornerback group, it is a big, big deal, guys. It hurts. Not saying we're done, but this is a terrible early injury for us, and only as a Dolphin magic can do. So this is not looking good. Clearly, though, we've got to hope the rest of this cornerback group's going to step up. Supposedly, it was right at the bat, too. They got done stretching. He bumped into somebody, and now you got this. Football is mercurial. That's why a lot of these guys want, these guaranteed contracts, because you never know when it could be over. What if he was like a rookie on the bubble? Career could end right here. So it's bad news for us. I probably should have started with Byron Matos being airlifted out. Scary thing, 6'9", 294, very interesting build. Second-year guy. Probably wouldn't start for us and make the 53, but maybe the practice squad. But he's a human being. Getting airlifted out, scary. Got to pray for that guy. I don't know what it is, heat stroke or something worse. I don't know. I'd say probably heat stroke, but that's a scary thing. Iffy had a McDanielism attached to him. He's been put on the PUP because it's rooted in good nature. McDaniels has got to learn to say things straight. He was put on there because there was something we wanted to be careful with, and he's going to be all right as far as we. But McDaniel kind of gets on my nerves with some of the way things he talks. It's just kind of grating on the nerves. But it doesn't look bad. It's just like a preventative thing, maybe some inflammation or something like that, and sort of holding on. He's a big piece. You can't lose Artie Burns and Iffy for a prolonged period of time. It's not saying it's going to be with this secondary and not be concerned. Then Eichenberg, some people like him, some people don't. As a player, I think we all care about him as a person. Nobody wants to see anyone hurt. But the news out was McDaniel said he's going to be out for weeks. 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't know. But it does say that Brunskill being signed was not a camp body or just a flippant move. It looks like he's going to be a serious piece of this roster, likely make the 53 and be with us week one. So he is now a big piece. I'm not saying he's great or whatever, but for us, for this offensive line that I've been saying is so critical, depth is massive. And Eichenberg, whether you high on him or not, he was our depth, the first guy in our depth. He's now out for some undisclosed time. Brunskill, I like. I think he's a veteran guy, a tough guy. I think he can play multiple spots. Don't want him starting long term, but now he is critical. Gotta hope he stays healthy. So Eichenberg's will be out for a while. Darren Waller, I didn't report yesterday because he's older. He has been out of football for a year or so. And I told you that, I hadn't worked out for months and I just started to come out hot and heavy, went out too hot and heavy. I haven't been able to walk for a week. So because of his age, because he hasn't played football for a while, it's just probably slow rolling him in to get all the juices flowing and all the joints and make sure this guy doesn't get hurt. So I don't think it's a big deal. So that's the full deal. But on the other side, the good news is no PUP for some critical players. Our edges, if Burns is out, if he's a slow delivery, and we don't sign another vet, although Greer probably should, but I don't know how barren the cap cupboard is, pressure is going to be massive. And last year, Phillips came out on a PUP, and it took him a while to get going. Even when he was in during the season before his other injury, he was looking not the same. But the fact that he's coming in not on PUP, it offers great hope that he can come out of the gates hot and have a great season for him. I want him to do well because he's a great guy. It would make it hard for us to resign him, but I want this kid to succeed. I want him to have a great season for our team this year and for his future. That's great news. Chubb, he's been out for a year and a half. I didn't expect him to be on PUP, but the fact that he isn't, him and Phillips are major, major pieces. Even more so now, again, with this question marks at corner and Artie Burns going down. So the fact that they're in right out of the gate is good news. But the best news for me, because I wasn't sure, was James Daniels. Coming off an Achilles, a little bit older. I figured he might be on a PUP and slow roll, but he's not. And the interior three is so big. I had an argument with someone on Twitter about tackles. Tackles are important. But back in the old days when I watched, it were the most important. But as the speed of the game picked up as far as the quick throws, the short throws, the interior pressure is the most critical because it's the quickest way to get to the quarterback. And so if you can lock those three down and make sure they block well, it's the most critical area for pass protection. The outside, as long as you don't get put on skates, you can kind of mitigate that, step up, and the time it gets for them to get there, unless they destroy the tackles, which sometimes happens with Jackson, it's a lot longer than the interior stuff. So Daniels being in, Savaianaya being there, and Brewer there, these three guys do offer hope that Tua can get out of this ridiculous historic throw rate of 204 clean time and maybe get it to, like, I'm getting crazy, but 210, 220. This would be a huge difference. It would buy more time for the receivers to get separation, and it could be a big uplift for our team. So that's great news on that front. Now, as far as reports, I want to stay happy. I like to stay positive. So I'm going to read from Travis Wingfield. He works for the team. It's got to be sort of positive. So take it for what it is. This is glorified flag football. They're not really hitting. There's no pads on. But still, you want to hear good news. You don't want to hear bad news. So Travis Wingfield, day one is a wrap, just notes. Jalen Wright picked up where he left off in the spring. He presses the hole and wins with speed against condensed defenders so nicely. I was marveling over Jonah and James Daniels get off at Indies. They were also sharp in a stunt pickup drill, which is big. We struggled with the stunts last year. Patrick Paul had one of his best days for my money. A convincing wins against Chop and Chubb. And it's great when he gets to go against top-end talent. That's going to help him get better. And while this is just in the shells and it's not in pads, he's getting to his spot and he's handling them. So that means his feet in the right place. And that's a big deal. When you're getting good news, even at this stage from the offensive line, Curtis gets excited. Defensively, the usual suspects had plays. I had Chubb with a sack and had a TFL. Seal and Brooks, TFLs. Tana. This is where the ton of grain of salt comes in. Look fast and dangerous as a runner after the catch. He's done it for years. Let's see if he can stay healthy. Good news is better than bad news. And there's another one, more salt here. Easy, Eric Uzukama made big plays, including two possible TD after a nice ball on a slant from Wilson. Again, glorified stuff. Nice to see. Let's see if it plays out. Tua got it out quick and on target. He had some chunk gains to Waddle. You should. It's all kind of in the slant to the offense at this stage. That's it for now. Now, again, this is glorified flag. There's no hitting. There's no contact. So the speed and the throws, they're not in the same. They're not being attacked and thrown off. The quarterback has no pressure, really. That changes things. Good to see this stuff. I think a lot of the stuff is going to be indicative of reality with Paul and Daniels and Savaianaya and even Wright, Easy and Connor, Tanner. It's grain of salt time. And Tua, he does it in game time for the most part. Obviously, this is going to be good. So it's going to be pretty much the same. Don't get too excited on him, but it's better than throwing picks. So let's lament a little bit about Artie Burns, big issues. And that's it, guys. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully no more injuries. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with acepread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.